Welcome to Health and Wellness with Aisha. And how are you doing today? I truly hope all is well with you. Today, in episode one of our Health and Wellness with Aisha, I'm going to address help when we're over 40 and we need to lose the weight. What exactly are the challenges that go with that, and how do we overcome that? Well, you wake up one morning and this is after the age of 40, and there's about 10, 15 extra pounds. It just seems like, they just suddenly materialize. Well, we happen to know that it doesn't really work like that. So it may feel like it was all of a sudden, but in truth, it was gradual. It actually took a little while for those pounds to accumulate around our waist, and that's usually where they settle. The weight settles right there in the middle, and it is a big challenge to us with that belly fat. And it's been, these are the areas that we certainly are most dissatisfied with when it comes to the gaining of the weight. So it's not a mystery that it just lands right there. That's where it settles. And it just seems like it's almost completely immune to diet and to exercise when you attempt to get rid of it. So what happens with us is, as we get older, is that the body after 40, it just seems to have this trifecta type of effect when it comes to gaining weight. Our hormones change, our metabolism changes, and things start to just slow down quite a bit, actually. And then if you're not lifting weights, then we start to lose the just a little bit more of our muscle every year as well. Now, the consensus is that after you reach 40, that everything seems to go downhill from there. I am not of that mindset that it necessarily goes downhill from there, but we certainly can get in front of that and try to take control and take charge of that. And I think we are capable of doing that. So this is what is known to take place after you reach the age of 40. But let's work toward changing that whole mentality, because I believe it's really just a mindset, and this is what happened. That this is what happens to us after we get reach the age of 40. You just want to kind of change that. So now what happens is that the muscles, that used to protect us, that helped us from not gaining the weight, it all that metabolism, by being slow now, is not as active, and we don't get the benefits of. So we start losing the muscle, and the metabolism just has a tendency to drop. So now some of this is genetic, and we are genetically predisposition to go in this direction, but that's not always the case. And so we want to just, kind of strike that thinking. But it can be a strike against us if this is what we are predisposed to. So now, even if you don't actually lose or gain the weight, you actually can gain the inches as well, and that still it winds up putting the weight there in our middle. And so the weight starts to be a little frustrating at this point, and a little challenging to get over. So it's easy to become a little obsessed with trying to get rid of the weight and all of that. Some people start, trying other tactics such as surgery and that thing. And I don't, really embrace that. I just think it's a more natural way that you can approach your weight loss. And just get in front of that without that I think is a drastic measure to have surgery to help you to lose weight. Now, mind you, some people might have to go that way, but only I think if that's an absolute necessity in your last alternative, would I suggest that you would use surgery as a way to lose weight. But so if that's not really necessary, I certainly wouldn't espouse to that. But now you can take control of your weight in other measures. And and why do we gain this weight after the age of 40? Well, there are some reasons why this seems to happen, and we want to address those today. Now, there are about four different reasons why this happens, and I do want to address that today and give you a sense about how that happens and what we personally can do about that. So today I'm going to just simply share that information with you, uh, and see if that can be a real help to you in our efforts to just to lose this weight after we reach the age of 40, just to change that whole paradigm. So today, the four most important contributors to weight gain, they do include your hormones. Hormones is one of the main culprits to the weight gain, actually. And so, and of course, our hormones, they start to change around the mid 30s and into our 40s. This change in the hormones, it's less estrogen for the women and more testosterone for the men. And then the fat just accumulates in our bodies, and it shifts to the middle. And that's where it seems to want to just rest and take up residence in the middle, which is so distressing if you really are used to being a little smaller, and you want to maintain your physique. So this has been the challenge for the 40 plus individuals, and myself included. And so I know the challenge of that. So now we want to just change that picture. That's one reason that you may get a little fluffier in the middle. It's because of those hormones. And so you want to just do something about that so that that can change. So the middle, is where that settles at, and it just seems to be the go-to for the fat that we gain. Now, the other thing is your heredity. Now, scientists have found that the specific genes, I should say, that determine how many fat cells we have, that's where they're stored. And so that is something that we don't really exercise a lot of control over. There are some, these are some things that we really can't change. If you look at your parents and your relatives, you'll see that there are areas in the family that tend to just store excess fat. And if you look down your family line, you can see that it's similar to most of the individuals in the family. And now the other thing is your lower metabolism. Now, there are a couple of things that happen to your metabolism after the age of 40. The first being that your metabolic rate, your BMR, it decreases. And so the second thing, then you expend less energy, and so with in expending that less energy, this is usually taking place during exercise. So some experts suggest that the metabolism that can decrease about maybe 5% for every decade after the 40 year age mark, and which means that you need about 60 to 100 fewer calories every 10 years. That's a large range that they look at to determine that statistic, I should say. But if you sit more, or if you are more I should say sedentary, or you eat more, this is really where you wind up at, you because you're exercising less, and you're not putting as much energy into the areas in which you used to do. And so actually also another thing is like more stress is involved in throughout that decade. Some people just live a very stress-filled life, and unfortunately, but there's ways to get in front of that, take charge of that, and just make sure that that is not a part of your everyday living. So that's but is a contributor to the weight gain. So you probably need to just to eat fewer calories when you fall into that lane right there, with stress being a part of your day-to-day existence. So then again, your diet plays a major part in this, and changes how that weight settles, and we see that and some hips, all of that comes into play. Your face gets a little fuller. All of those things are just, telltale signs that you're gaining the weight that you're not happy with, and you would certainly like to change. And then the other thing is that you lose a lot of muscle, and so like our metabolisms, uh, we start to lose muscle when we hit over 40, and that can be a little challenging as well, experiencing a steady decline in each decade as we get a little older. So those of us that have long past 40, we can kind of see some of these changes taking place. And there are things, again, that you can do, and that we can certainly, as we go forward in our episodes, talk about these different areas that will just help us strengthen our bodies, get stronger as we go, and just overall be better people as we progress in age. And so we don't have to take the mindset, and I think it is a mindset that we've embraced, that yeah, the older you get, and particularly after you get 40, everything is downhill. I don't, I just know that we can do something about that. So now, with that being said, the scientists do believe that the motor units that make up our muscles do decline as we age, and that the motor units don't always fire as they used to on a more regular basis, which again is a challenge. So, however, the most important takeaway here is that the biggest factor in losing muscle is the lack of physical activity. So, if you find yourself not being able to do the exercise, for whatever reason, some of us, have different issues that these bodies present to us. Pain in different areas of the body. It doesn't always allow you to be most effective in your exercise, but that is one of the things that it's a big factor in losing the muscle, and so the lack of physical activity just increases that, and so which makes exercise really a more crucial component when it comes to preventing muscle loss. So if we could add that in there, we certainly could get on top of some of the things that are presented with us as older people as we cross over that 40 mark. So I just believe that as a community, coming together, helping one another, supporting one another, encouraging one another, answering, getting our questions answered, getting, those things that we could include in our day-to-day living, could just overall help each and every one of us do better when it comes to the weight, particularly now that we've entered into what they consider a downhill slope, because he crossed over the 40 mark, which again, that depends on where you're at in your thinking. But I would say in the community in which we're building here, that we can certainly get in front of that. Now, I do have a support group, the Women Plus 40 Plus support group, winning with weight loss. We certainly can come together, do our due diligence, helping one another, supporting one another, like I said, getting all our questions answered, changing our way of doing things, adding some things, taking away some things, and just pushing out some of those things that haven't served us well. So I believe that we can overcome this challenge of being over 40 and having difficulty when it comes to losing weight. So again, I thank you today for tuning in. I do look forward to speaking to you again in the very near future in our next episode. I'm going to leave the information below the video as to how you can join the support group, and we have a newsletter also that we offer, so you can get updates about different things, and just an overall comprehensive way to approach losing weight after we reach 40 and over. So again, I look forward to speaking to you. Certainly do enjoy the balance of your day, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Thank you.